kitchen or your dining room right here that we're visiting. You have the essentials for any off-grid guy. You have
I'm starting a new hobby.
Manicure? Oh, that's for
emery boards.
Oh, okay.
You have to sand. You have to sand. Anyhow.
Hey everybody, we have perhaps the coolest off-grid vehicle I've ever put on the channel up to this point. This is a 5-ton, what is it called? 6x6 command center from the U.S. Army that spent time in Iraq. Of course, if you've been paying attention to the channel, you know my husband's a veteran, so that's doubly cool. And this is its owner, who says it's a bachelor pad, which can basically take down a small city. Randy. Why did you buy this thing, Randy? What was it about it that you're like, I have to have this?
I got divorced, had to sell the house, and I've always wanted something with 6 wheels. You can see how wide it is. All that folds up, and so it's 8 foot wide, and then you can go down the road. That takes about a half hour or so. I got it. It had just had a new engine and everything put in it. Everything mechanical works. So I got to spend my time doing kind of a quickie RV job on the inside. It'll never be finished.
No good RV is ever finished. Am I right, folks?
I found out I could use it, and so I'd rather use it than work on it. I'm still picking at it a little bit.
Let's cut to commentary from Lynn about this in its actual environment.
The interesting thing about these vehicles is the fact that these ones in particular were called 5 tons, and they're modular, so you can put different things on them. So as you can see, as we're coming around the back side of this vehicle here, there's a camper style back end to it. And then coming around here to the front, I mean, these are very capable vehicles, very heavy duty axles. All 3 axles on this vehicle would drive is a diesel engine. The newer ones are 7 tons, so that means that they're capable of carrying 7 tons capacity. So those were much larger vehicles. But in this one, in the case of the vehicle you're looking at right now, it has a camper style back end on it, and that was typically used for communications equipment, everything ranging from very high frequency, ultra high frequency, and then high frequency communications. They did direct line of sight communications and satellite links, things like that. You would see other trucks that had like big, huge antenna arrays or antenna masts on them, water purification, wrecker trucks. Commonly, the types of 5 tons that I had experience with, they were all utility purpose, so they would carry heavy stuff. We called it break bulk, or more often than not, they would carry us. So you would see the troop carriers, and they would have plain like racks in the back where you would sit down and everybody be kind of facing each other. And we always had a funny little saying in the Marine Corps: there's always room for one more. And it seemed that no matter how many Marines we would stack inside of one of these trucks, we would always need to try to fit one more Marine in there. So things about some of these vehicles is that because they had a high center of gravity and they're very top heavy at times, rollovers were a concern with them, but very capable trucks, and they lasted for a long time. I remember we finally traded out the 7 tons, traded out the 5 tons to 7 tons sometime around 2001 time frame. So but the thing about these vehicles is they had to be embarkable in lots of different ways, both via air and sea, and then also on rail and things like that. So those are all the considerations that come into building these vehicles, but very capable vehicles.
Some of the stuff was so full of desert dirt, it was totally useless, so I threw everything in the inside out.
Why did you choose this over like an Airstream or a 5th wheel?
I looked at an 8 foot wide one that didn't expand, and it was really old. It was really beautiful. The guy that was showing to me actually fell out the back and cracked his skull, and I took that as a sign that I needed something bigger. To me, this is kind of like a studio apartment, but everything has to move inside this line, like the couch slides in, bed folds, everything folds up to make it 8 feet wide so it can go down the road. It's a flexi mattress. It's got a hinge on it. It flips up like this.
Oh.
That folds in. The TV slides over and flips up against the ceiling.
Got it. Okay.
This thing rolls over.
It's quite the ordeal.
It's like a Swiss Army knife. So it takes about a half hour at least to get it set up. And when it's open, I'm very comfortable. It's got propane, a huge propane furnace. When I'm hooked to shore power, I've got electric heat, got wood heat, so I'm not going to freeze. And it's got everything. Everything an RV has, 400 watts of solar panels, air conditioning, just everything. The shower back there, and it will go anywhere it'll fit. Anywhere it'll make the corners.
The tires are it's huge off the ground.
It'll go anywhere. It'll go absolutely anywhere that it will fit. But if you have to make it like a switchback, sometimes it won't make it.
Okay, someone's watching this thinking this is a really cool idea. I want to do this. What's the pluses and negatives?
The biggest negative is when you pull into a place, you spend a half hour or so setting up. You really can't go anywhere. You'd have to fold it back up, drive into town for a beer, and then you couldn't drive back. So I need to come up with. I got a bicycle, but I need to come up with a motorcycle or something that I can use for transportation. But it's kind of fun just getting out there and being stuck. Because you're stuck, you got to read, you got to do all these things when you're stuck. So it's not bad.
And you said too, it's like a friend attractant.
If I pull into a gas station, it's like a 50-50 chance somebody will come up with their kid and say, "Hey, can I take a picture of my kid by your big tires?" It's like, sure. but it's you pull into a Forest Service campgrounds are just everybody wants to look at it, and some of those people want to have a beer.
Kind of like me.
Yeah, it's fans on both ends so you can filter air through it, so it keeps it fairly cool. I am so excited about it being nice out because I love opening the doors and I feel like I'm kind of in a tree house. People say, "Hey, why don't you take those grills out there? What if somebody want to throw a grenade in? I want to keep those."
Always thinking.
Yeah, that's what they were for. That keeps somebody from throwing an explosive device through the windows. So.
Okay, well, I don't know. It is an election year, so we don't know what's going to... Whoa, I almost fell over your table. Yeah, no, you can never be too safe out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. No. My elf onesie.
I love your elf onesie. I love
Left
it.
over from Christmas. Anyhow.
Nice, okay.
It's kind of a
but that's big enough.
It's big enough. I mean, you only spend a certain amount of time in there.
And you have this house that you're parked next to, so you usually use the bathroom in there?
When I'm here, I do, because there's no sewage hookup here. So.
Okay, got it. This is the shower here where you put the pan here at the floor, and then up here you got the head and controls. Yeah, this is your mad scientist workshop.
This is kind of temporary for my goofy boat model project. That's a wood stove.
Got a wood stove here for heat.
Factory fire logs because they're cleaner.
What is this here? Did it come like that? You put "Be Your Own Kind of Beautiful" on there?
Yeah, I think it's beautiful.
Driving through Iraq with "Be Your Own Kind of Beautiful." I don't know, people might be like, what is up with that army vehicle?
I'm trying to make it look kind of normal so I can do parades and stuff. The opening of the hood is a ritual. Hasn't been opened. Might be frozen from winter. There.
Oh, careful. Oh my God. Wow.
It's a Cummins turbo diesel. Brand new. Well, it's got a couple thousand miles on it now, but it was new when I got it. And it runs very nice. It's a 92, but then to make it less smoky and less noisy, they put a new engine, did a whole bunch of stuff.
The Army did?
The Army did.
Okay.
And then, because they didn't have anything to replace it with. And then they parked it for like 7 years after they upgraded it, so.
And then you adopted it.
Yep, I gave it a home.
Do you mind telling us what you paid? Like, how much does one of these vehicles run?
Right now, if you go online, they're very expensive. But when they were selling them surplus, this one was like $6,500.
That's not bad.
So no.
And you could use it right away.
Yeah.
$6,500 and you could use it right away.
The guy at Fort Lewis said, "I'd give you the keys, but they don't have keys." And he walked away. That was it. That was the turnover, and it all worked. I drove it home from Fort Lewis, and
well, what do you do to drive it?
Kids get it. We let kids at veterans events come and come and play on them, and they sweet little kids. They've broken both of my door latches because one kid will get on the outside and the other. Anyhow, come on, are you gonna start for us?
So it's just knobs.
What? It's
Just
what?
a knob.
Yeah.
How do you keep it secure? Do people try to steal it? How do you lock it up?
I locked it.
So people could just steal it. They don't need a key. If they break in, they could just drive off with it.
No, we shouldn't advertise.
Oh, okay, we won't say.
All military vehicles.
Oh, okay. Leave it to a former TV news reporter to think of worst case scenario for theft and anything else that might come across your vehicle.
Now that I've said this, I am going to install a little security switch.
So another consideration to think about when you're looking at these vehicles is the fact that because they're so heavy duty and they have such a high ground clearance, and being that they're capable to go off-road in some very arduous conditions, there's a lot of people out there who utilize these vehicles for overland camping, and there's all kinds of different ways that you see people setting these vehicles up. So this is just be another consideration. I know there's places you can go online. We used to call it DERMO, and don't ask me to try to remember what that actually stands for, but basically a lot of these vehicles, as they come out of service in the military, then they sell them, they'll resell them for civilians. You can go to auctions and you can buy these types of vehicles, Humvees, other types of general purpose use like trucks and things like that. So there is a community of people out there that go and rebuild them. I know primarily, like you can even go on like the Discovery Channel or whatever and watch I believe it's like the Diesel Brothers. They love using these different axles and these different parts that they get from these vehicles because they are so heavy duty and the wear and tear on them is just amazing, and the engines are so good even with the use and abuse that they've gotten in the military. So just another consideration to look at, if you're thinking that you're wanting to use this not so much for traveling across country on well-paved highways or things like that, but you actually want a specific use vehicle for overland camping and going into places where the average camper can't make it, then this would be a good choice for you to use.
We're taking tips for a name, so just leave that in the comment. Randy says Betty is his first choice, but if you have something better than that,
I'm sure you can do better than Betty, so let me know. Keep it clean.
what's the prize if
Or
they
not.
win?
Just the joy of knowing that they've helped name my truck. I'm not giving you anything.
I mean, it is YouTube, folks, all right? This isn't like Jeopardy or what was that family game show? Price is Right. Yeah, this is not The Price is Right. This is YouTube. All right, we'll see you next time. Bye.